Hi friends, so I just got some really bad news for immigrant children, specifically for unaccompanied minors. So we just got word that the Trump administration has issued a stop work order to organizations that are providing legal services to immigrant kids who are in detention. So for those of you who don't know, I spent several years at a large nonprofit in Philly representing children who are in immigration detention. To give kind of an overview of those services, kids who are in immigration detention get a Know Your Rights presentation within a certain time period of when they arrive. They get a legal screening. For certain kids who meet certain requirements, they get somebody to actually represent them. So I would represent kids, primarily kids who were aging out of the system and didn't have a sponsor to go to or who had been there for a very long time. So these services are super important. There are also some legal service providers that do services for kids who are released from immigration detention and are now out in the community. These services are so vital. I worked with a lot of kids who dealt with abuses and really difficult situations within the youth detention system in the Office of Refugee Resettlement. I had kids who were being drugged against their will, being forced to take psychotropic medications that they didn't want to take, who were being held in some of these like off the books residential treatment facilities during the last Trump administration. I've had clients who were sent to adult ICE detention the moment they turned 18. And I was able to like jump into the system and be something that kind of stopped the wheels from turning and kind of chewing them up. And I was sort of the person who was able to defend them and try to get them released somewhere other than ICE detention, or try to stand up for them and the abuses that they were suffering within this system. And oftentimes the attorneys that go into those facilities are really the only like trusted adult who really is there for these kids and is there to support them and advocate for them. So I am really frightened to think of, what is going to go on in these facilities when there are no attorneys having access to the kids there. Because I know that bad things happen, even with legal services and lawyers being available. So I'm really frightened to think about what this means for the conditions that kids will be in, and how they won't have, anybody to go to, anybody to be a voice for them within this system. It is really concerning. I have heard from a colleague that a large organization is preparing a lawsuit against the administration to try to stop this, and I hope that that comes to fruition and that is effective. But I'm really worried. I have been worried, since November, but I have to say this really left me speechless for a few minutes.